I think it's interesting to see that London has always been a city that's much more dense than Melbourne. I mean, Melbourne has sort of increased in density remarkably in the last few years, and it's projected to be the biggest city in the country and reach 8 million in the next really 15, 20 years. So it's been interesting to see from London's point of view how you handle the quality of life when the city gets that large.
We feel a lot of pressure at the moment from being the fastest growing city in Australia, but also actually the fastest growing city in the OECD at the moment. And the pressure that that brings with it means that we know we're going to have growth. It's either going to be good growth or bad growth. It's completely up to us.
Metro Melbourne is predicted to double its population from the 5 we sit now to 10 million in about 30 years' time. Now clearly you can't accommodate that population by business as usual. So the challenge is going to be, how do we get more out of the existing city? How do we use the infrastructure we've got better? And while that sounds like a daunting challenge, it's actually a very exciting one.
I think livability is the experience of a place. So defining it is different for different people, and it is a combination of social and economic factors that work for a person, and I think that combination changes over the life cycle. So I think defining it and measuring it, there's so many metrics, I think is constraining, and it's more useful to think about what are the things that create inclusion and activate places for positive interaction, which generates the livability.
You need what I call a high quality public realm. So the space outside buildings needs to be a pleasant space. And the biggest space outside of our buildings are our streets. They make up 80% of the public space outside of buildings. So the one liner is, if you design a good street, you design a good city. The other thing is, I think cities should be built on their own character. You shouldn't be copying from someone else. You should be looking at your city and say, what's special about our city and how do we improve that over time? And Melbourne's done that, I think, since the 1980s to try and build on its characteristics.
I think we can take away that livability is complex, and the metrics maybe don't capture every aspect of what it means to live in a city, and perhaps I think we can probably take away that there are significant challenges to how we address the quality of life in our major cities across the world as the population gets both larger and also becomes more urban. That'll be our major challenge, and I think we've sort of highlighted some positives and also I think some of the challenges that we face in both cities.